Hey everyone, it's Josh from the Blockchain DXB podcast, and today is the 5th of August 2026. And so far, the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, Satoshi, the prices of Bitcoin as well as Ethereum has marginally picked up pace. But other than that, there is not much going on in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. But right now, Satoshi, the Japanese yen is getting weaker against the US dollar, isn't it? So what I thought in today's episode, we'll go and discuss what kind of an impact will have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And there are tiny snippets circulating in social media where President Donald Trump, they have decided to go ahead and help the Japanese yen. Really interesting development taking place. Now at a macro level, Satoshi, news such as this indirectly impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
Right, George. It's definitely interesting that President Trump is considering stepping in with the yen. That kind of involvement could lead to more volatility, making people look for safer assets, and that's where Bitcoin comes in. We'll be getting into all of that.
Now we'll definitely go ahead and touch base on that, and we do have 4 macro level news that we're going to be touching base on today's episode. The first one, Satoshi, is all the way from Bhutan. And here's the thing, guys, Bhutan is working on a mindful city, and I believe it is called as Galapu Mindful City. And in order to do that, they have decided to take help from a Canadian company called as 3iQ. And the news, guys, is that 3iQ, they would be the ones who would be managing the Bitcoin reserves in Bhutan. Really interesting development. Now, the next 2 news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is an institutional news. The first one is connected to Wells Fargo. And look, guys, tokenization is a massive news, isn't it? And the news is that Wells Fargo, they're working on tokenized deposits. And most likely, this particular initiative will be live towards the later part of this year. Really interesting development, isn't it? Now, the third news you're going to be talking about is an interesting news as well. And this is connected to 2 giants. And looks like they're working on a digital infrastructure project. And the news, guys, is that BNY along with Galaxy Digital, they're working on a digital infrastructure framework. Really interesting development in my honest opinion. So looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And the final news that we're going to be talking about is regarding an update. And this is connected to United States of America and United Kingdom. And roughly around a few weeks ago, guys, we talked about how both the countries, they're working on a financial regulatory framework that does include cryptocurrencies as well. And we do have a tiny update regarding that. So we'll go ahead and update all of these things to our listeners. So at a macro level, Satoshi, am I right in saying there are quite a lot of interesting news? And right now, a lot of institutional investors, they are taking part in the world of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, isn't it?
George, we'll be diving into depth on the latest developments with 3iQ, Wells Fargo, Galaxy Digital, and the UK and US regulatory updates. As you mentioned, George, there are many interesting things happening on a macro level. We'll be getting deeper into all of these topics.
We definitely will, Satoshi, and looks like we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, we will be looking at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. Do you want to tell our listeners what are the 2 news you're going to be discussing later on in today's episode?
Certainly, George. We'll be looking at Infinios going live with MasterCard on stablecoin settlement, a first for issuers in Bahrain. We'll also discuss the Saudi AI firm Mozen securing a strategic investment from Humane.
Really interesting development taking place on the Middle East, isn't it? So it looks like, Satoshi, we've got a lot of interesting things to cover, isn't it, in today's episode? But before we go ahead and do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana. And they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into investing in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part guys, once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana guys is all markets one app. Next guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Cause for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right guys, palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrency is all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock guys is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners guys, we have something really interesting for you, cause you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025 as well as ETH Women. And look guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life, so don't just read about it, be there and head to the website that is futuristconference.com and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media guys is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE, so definitely check it out. And also guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen guys, do one thing, if you do want to support this channel, go to the website that is www.amt.tv and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. a brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gulf Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet, and this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below.
Now guys, since you've taken care of that, let's quickly run to the global cryptocurrency market. Now here's the thing, Satoshi, the global cryptocurrency market isn't looking that great. It is only at $2.28 trillion, but interestingly enough, since the last 24 hours, we do have significant amount of inflows. And am I right in saying because there are significant amount of inflows, there is a very high possibility over the next 24 to 48 hours, we might be seeing a pump in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
With significant inflows, George, it's certainly possible we could see some upward movement in the short term. Market dynamics are definitely pointing towards that possibility. We should keep an eye on it.
Now we'll definitely go and run to what the numbers are regarding the crypto-related inflows, but let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and go back to the global cryptocurrency snapshot, and if you look at the 24-hour trading volume, it is only at $52.5 billion, and regarding the decentralized exchange volume, Satoshi, the numbers are definitely not looking great. It is only at $6.05 billion, and the total fees connected for these transactions is only at $62.52 million. And surprisingly enough, guys, if you look at ETF related information, we are seeing significant amount of inflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and this is accounting to $157.2 million. And as we discussed, Satoshi, because of there is a very high possibility the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies may actually pump up over the next 24 to 48 hours. But here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is not financial advice. Make sure you go out and do your own research. Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to run through the matrix that is connected to decentralized exchange. So why don't you do one thing? Tell our listeners the matrix of the top 5 platforms, please.
George, the 24-hour trading volumes by platform show Uniswap at $1.39 billion, followed by PancakeSwap at $777.28 million. Pump is at $731.06 million. And Aerodrome reported $417.26 million. Lastly, Medic saw $876.51 million in volume.
Well, thank you so much for that. But here's the thing, Satoshi, if you look at the volume of stable coins, it has an increase in 2026, and the volume of Tether USDT is only at $46.16 billion. Circle USDC, guys, is at number 2nd, but its 24-hour volume is below the $10 billion mark. It is only at $9.18 billion, and the 24-hour volume of FDUSD is at number 3rd, but its volume is slightly above the $100 million mark. It is only at $119.41 million. Now what I want you to do next, Satoshi, is I want you to tell our listeners what is going on regarding the market cap of Bitcoin, the 24-hour trading volume and dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Right, George. Bitcoin's market cap is at $1.28 trillion, with a 24-hour volume of $23.42 billion, giving it a dominance of 56.20%. Ethereum, on the other hand, has a market cap of $226.13 billion, with around $7.84 billion in daily trading, putting its dominance at 9.89%. And for Binance Coin, its market cap is $79.05 billion, though its 24-hour volume appears significantly higher in the numbers you shared, at $944.58 billion.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and look at one new matrix that we talk about every day in the Blockchain DXB podcast. Now, before we go ahead and run through some matrix, why don't you tell our listeners what is a governance coin, what are the benefits of it, and what are the negative aspects of it, and then I'll go ahead and share some matrix that is connected to governance coin for our listeners.
Essentially, George, a governance coin gives holders the right to vote on decisions within a decentralized protocol, meaning they help shape its future. The main benefits are that it promotes decentralization and encourages participation. However, on the negative side, it can sometimes lead to slow decision-making, and there's always the risk of a few large coin holders dominating the outcomes.
Well, you're right, Satoshi, and centralization is definitely one of the risks of governance coins, isn't it? And when you talk about governance coin, guys, the market cap is at $29.2 billion, and since the last 24 hours, it is marginally up by 1.30%. But do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, the top 5 platforms in the world of governance coins?
George, the top 5 platforms for governance coins are Hyperliquid at $12.29 billion, followed by Uniswap at $2.41 billion. Polkadot is at $1.46 billion, and Aave holds $1.39 billion, with Sky coming in at $1.30 billion. The market cap is up marginally by about 1.30% in the last day.
Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and tell our listeners what is going on regarding the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. So do you want to tell our listeners the price of Bitcoin? What is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days? And regarding Bitcoin, Satoshi, there's a really interesting fact. A solo miner did actually manage to mine a single block, and because of that, he did manage to receive 3.157 Bitcoin, and I believe the worth of that is roughly on $200,000. Really interesting and lucky miner, isn't it? But do one thing, Satoshi. Tell our listeners the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours and 7 days. As a matter of fact, do the same thing for Ethereum as well as Binance BNB Coin for our listeners, please.
Regarding the price, George, Bitcoin is currently sitting at $64,205, which is up 1.17% in the last 24 hours and up 0.61% over the past week. Ethereum is at $1,874, showing a slight increase of 0.96% in the last day, though it is down 2.15% over the week. And finally, Binance BNB is at $593 with a 0.78% gain today and a nice increase of 4.29% over the last 7 days.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. But here's the thing, guys. If you look at the Fear and Greed Index, right now it is at fear and the number associated is 38. But since the last 24 hours, we are seeing significant amount of inflows in the world of crypto ETF. So hopefully the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies pump up. But at a macro level, Satoshi, there's something really interesting going on regarding the Japanese yen and the US dollar. And what is happening, guys, is the Japanese yen was actually getting weaker against the US dollar. So what Japan and the United States of America did, they did take some action to strengthen the yen. And after this move, the dollar did actually become weaker. And so far as the value of yen is concerned, it marginally increased as well. And the exchange rate, Satoshi, has fallen from 160 yen per dollar to roughly around 155 yen. And because of that, Satoshi, the yen has since lost some of their gains. And right now, investors are watching closely to see if Japan takes more actions. Now, what I want to do, Satoshi, I want to go ahead and discuss, because of this particular initiative, what kind of an impact do you think it'll have on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, a stronger yen and weakened dollar could actually affect global liquidity, which often impacts risky assets like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? And here's the thing, guys. If investors become more cautious due to currency uncertainty, there is a possibility they may reduce exposure to cryptocurrencies and other risky assets. But here's the thing, it is also important to note, a weakened US dollar can sometimes support Bitcoin as investors look for alternatives to traditional currencies, and changes in Japanese interest rate And also, current policy could influence global markets and investor sentiments towards cryptocurrencies. And am I right in saying, Satoshi, if the yen strengthens significantly, traders who are using yen-based borrowing strategies could actually unwind positions, potentially causing volatility across the market, and this includes cryptocurrencies as well, isn't it?
George, your analysis is sound. Interventions like that can definitely influence global liquidity. And as you noted, that often benefits risk-on assets like Bitcoin. The potential for volatility from unwinding yen-based borrowing is a critical point to watch, since it can ripple everywhere. Also, that caution about currency uncertainty potentially causing investors to pull back could be a challenge too. It definitely points to macro policy remaining a dominant driver.
But would you agree to the statement, Satoshi, that Bitcoin could actually benefit if investors view currency interventions in monetary uncertainty as a reason to seek decentralized assets?
Yes, George, that premise is widely discussed. When centralized currencies face uncertainty or heavy intervention, investors tend to look for assets outside of government control, and Bitcoin fits that narrative, benefiting from their search for decentralization.
And what about for investors and institutions and companies, Satoshi? What I really recommend them to do is constantly watch the US dollar strength, cause look, a weaker dollar could support Bitcoin and cryptocurrency prices, but at the same time, a stronger dollar could create pressure on risky assets, isn't it? So according to me, it is a good idea to monitor global liquidity conditions. And here's the thing, guys. Currency moves and central bank actions can actually impact how much capital flows into Bitcoin, cryptocurrency market as well as other investors, and changes in interest rate could influence institutional appetite for Bitcoin, ETFs as well as digital assets. So do you agree to my assessment, Satoshi? These are the things that are really applicable for investors, institutions as well as companies. But here's the thing, guys. Whatever we're saying is not financial advice. Make sure you go and do your own research.
Yes, George, I absolutely agree. Monitoring those factors, dollar strength, global liquidity, and central bank policies, including rate changes, is crucial for any investor, especially institutions, when evaluating risk management and capital allocation to Bitcoin. And of course, emphasizing the importance of independent research is always prudent.
And what about for average individuals, Satoshi? A weaker dollar or stronger yen can actually impact global markets and how people protect their wealth, isn't it? So currency changes can actually affect savings and investment. And another thing that pops into my mind, Satoshi, is that Bitcoin may actually attract attention during currency uncertainty, isn't it? And some people may look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as an alternative asset, particularly when they lose confidence in traditional currencies. But because of this particular drama, Satoshi, I do feel we might be experiencing some volatility, and big moves in currencies can actually create sudden price changes in Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrency industries. So am I right in saying, Satoshi, these are the factors that could potentially impact individuals?
Indeed, George, that assessment is logical. When faith in traditional currencies weakens, Bitcoin's decentralized nature becomes more appealing as an alternative asset. Furthermore, those big currency shifts can definitely create volatility in Bitcoin as markets react to the changing economic conditions. Currency instability often acts as a catalyst.
It definitely does, Satoshi, and for the cryptocurrency industry, Satoshi, I do feel that currency instability may increase discussions around Bitcoin role as a stable value, and asset managers and companies could actually review their exposure to Bitcoin now, possibly even stable coins, and also other digital assets based on global monetary changes. And currency uncertainty, guys, may accelerate demand for blockchain-based payment solutions and also dollar-backed stable coins, isn't it?
Yes, George, your perspective is insightful. Currency instability can definitely highlight Bitcoin's perceived qualities as a store of value, and prompting asset managers and companies to re-examine their digital asset exposure is plausible. The drive for blockchain payment solutions and stablecoins as alternatives is also a logical trend in such times.
Now, for our listeners, Satoshi, is there any advice you'd like to give them or specific metrics they should be looking at least for the next 24 to 48 hours, keeping in mind the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Well, George, in the short term, I'd suggest people keep a close eye on the US dollar index, the DXY, as its movement can definitely set trends. Also, watching those crypto ETF fund flows and the fear and greed index will give you a sense of market sentiment. And naturally, any news on central bank policies or interventions will be very relevant.
And later on this month, Satoshi, there's going to be a Jackson Hole speech. I believe it's going to be on the 28th or 29th of this month. So listeners should definitely keep an eye on that. Now, regarding the US dollar index and DXY, Satoshi, what are the sources people can keep a track on?
You're right, George. Jackson Hole will be very important.
For tracking the DXY, reliable sources include financial news sites like Bloomberg or Reuters, investment platforms like TradingView, or even major finance portals like Yahoo Finance. They typically provide real-time data.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss an interesting news. And this is all the way from Bhutan, but it is connected to Canada. And this cause is connected to Bhutan's Gallup Mindful City, and Canadian digital asset manager, that is 3IQ, will be the one that will be managing 10,000 Bitcoin reserves. And here's the thing, guys. 3IQ will also invest in local talent and establish a long-term presence in Gallup as the city develops into a digital financial hub. Now look, Satoshi, so far as Bhutan is concerned, they were kind of like the hidden giant in the space, isn't it? But it is important to note that they've been mining Bitcoin going back to 2019, and they're also using crypto reserves to support the GMC project or Gallup Mindful City project that focuses on sustainability, innovation, as well as economic growth. Now look, Satoshi, this particular initiative is kind of similar to El Salvador's Bitcoin City, isn't it? And looks like they're aiming to attract global talent as well as investors to digital assets, isn't it?
That's definitely a fascinating development, George. Bhutan partnering with 3IQ to manage a reserve and invest in local talent suggests a very deliberate long-term strategy to integrate digital assets. It's notable that they've been mining since 2019, and the comparison to El Salvador's project is quite apt. Both seem to be positioning themselves as digital hubs. It highlights a growing trend of sovereign wealth and regional development tying into crypto.
Not a macro level, Satoshi. What are the key factors that could impact this particular situation, either in a positive or in a negative way?
Well, George, on the positive side, successful infrastructure development in Gallup, clear regulations friendly to digital assets, and actually attracting that global talent could drive progress. However, negative factors could include major global crypto market downturns, restrictive international regulations, technical challenges with the implementation, or even geopolitical instability affecting the region. It really depends on those key conditions.
And right now there's a bit of drama going on regarding Iran and US, isn't it? Thank you so much, Satoshi, for your valuable insights. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and talk about a massive news regarding Wells Fargo. And this cause is connected to tokenization. And the news is that Wells Fargo, they will be launching tokenized deposits this fall. And they will be allowing selected companies and commercial clients to transfer and settle funds 24/7 on its blockchain platform. Now this particular news, guys, is actually published by the Wall Street Journal. And regarding this news, the pilot project will support the US dollar to British pound transactions, and they have plans to expand it to more clients, countries, as well as currencies throughout 2027. And the service keeps customer funds within the regulated banking system, while at the same time enabling faster settlements and programmable payouts. And this particular launch, guys, follows Wells Fargo's trademark filing, that is WFUSD, and comes as bank expands its digital asset investment and blockchain services. What do you make of this particular news, Satoshi? I think it is definitely a massive news, isn't it?
You're right, George. That is big news. A major bank like Wells Fargo embracing tokenized deposits shows real momentum for bringing real-world assets onto blockchain platforms. The capability to settle funds 24/7 is a practical benefit that directly addresses limitations of traditional banking. This truly marks a milestone for institutional adoption.
Let me ask you a question, Satoshi. Are there any other industries which are not connected to finance that will be impacted because of this news? I'm thinking about, let's say, supply chain management firms or maybe AI firms that use a lot of funds that will be impacted by this news by Wells Fargo?
Certainly, George. Beyond finance, industries like supply chain management could benefit dramatically. Immediate programmable payments could clarify logistics, automate releases of goods based on payment, and improve cash flow for everyone involved. Digital art and content creators could get paid instantly for usage via programmable clauses, and even service providers in the gig economy could receive payment for their work 24/7. The key benefits are the speed, constant availability, and automation.
At this part of time, it will be too early to tell which blockchain protocol they're using, isn't it? And based on the new Satoshi, am I right in saying they're essentially forming a consortium which does go against the very ethos of and the whole creation of blockchain technology, isn't it?
You're right that we don't know the specifics yet. And your observation about a consortium model being different from the public, permissionless nature of Bitcoin is a very common point of discussion. Private, permission blockchains are often used for efficiency gains within existing systems, rather than for total decentralization. These two approaches coexist and represent different ways blockchain technology is being applied.
As a matter of fact, Satoshi, the next news that we're going to be talking about is kind of similar to Wells Fargo news, but this news is connected to BNY Mellon, and the news is that they are partnered with Galaxy, and this is to expand digital asset infrastructure for institutional clients. And this collaboration, guys, will be adding staking support for BNY's digital asset custody platform, allowing eligible digital assets to earn rewards, while at the same time remaining in custody. And so far as Galaxy is concerned, guys, Galaxy will also help design and improve BNY's digital asset platform, with staking services subject to regulatory approval, and institutional clients will be able to access custody, staking, fund accounting, tax reporting, payments, and also client reporting to a single integrated platform. This new Satoshi is kind of similar to the previous news, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what kind of a massive news this is, and how does the cryptocurrency industry actually benefit because of this?
You bring up a valid point, George. There is definitely a distinction between public, permissionless blockchains like Bitcoin and the kind of private, consortium-based systems big banks might develop for efficiency. It does present a different landscape from the original decentralized ethos. Now, regarding the BNY Mellon Galaxy partnership, that truly reinforces the trend. As more institutions want custody and staking services, it signals an ongoing professionalization and expansion of infrastructure, making it easier for traditional players to participate with confidence. It adds legitimacy and access, though through a different model than purely decentralized systems.
Now, right now, look, Satoshi, because of the Trump administration, the regulations are friendly and they do have a pro-Bitcoin and cryptocurrency stance, isn't it? But am I right in saying, let's say in the near future, if the Democrats take control, all of these initiatives will actually take a step back? Because right now, if you look at the United States of America, they're definitely heading towards a socialist regime, isn't it? So what is your assessment regarding regulations, and what role does politics actually play in the adoption of such news?
Political dynamics undeniably play a significant role in shaping the regulatory climate. Different parties or leaders might prioritize different goals, some focusing on fostering innovation, others on enhancing consumer protection or financial stability. Shifts in power can therefore lead to changes in approach, potentially resulting in either tighter oversight or more supportive policies, which adds an element of uncertainty. That's why industry news like this is often looked at in the context of the broader, evolving political discussion.
Interesting point, Satoshi. Definitely appreciate that. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and talk about another news. And this is connected to United States of America and United Kingdom. And this, to be honest, is more of an update, because roughly around 2 or 3 weeks ago, we did actually talk about what they were actually planning. And the news is that the United States of America and the UK Financial Regulatory Working Group met in London. And the whole idea was to strengthen cooperation on financial regulations and innovation. And officials discussed digital assets, stable coins, as well as tokenization. And they also discussed AI in finance, cybersecurity, and improving payment systems. At the meeting, guys, highlighted the US-UK Transatlantic Task Force for Market of the Future that aims to support digital asset and capital market growth. And both countries, guys, going forward will continue working together on financial stability, regulatory modernization, investor protection, and future of economic growth. Now, for our listeners, all of this information is actually published by the US Department of Treasury. What do you make of this particular initiative, Satoshi? I think at a macro level, this news is definitely positive, isn't it?
It's absolutely positive, George. When two major financial centers like the US and UK collaborate on regulation, it helps create clarity and consistency across jurisdictions. That reduces friction for companies operating globally, especially in areas they discussed, like stablecoins and tokenization. It's another key step toward building a more stable, integrated global framework for digital assets.
Now, going to the US Department of Treasury website, Satoshi clearly states, the working group meeting emphasized close ongoing US and UK cooperation and focused on several key themes, including 1. Economic and financial stability outlook, 2. Digital finance and operational resilience, 3. Regulatory modernization and international regulatory development, and 4. The US-UK Transatlantic Task Force. And this is from Markets of the Future. Really interesting development, isn't it? So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. The first news is all the way from the Kingdom of Bahrain. Do you want to tell our listeners, Satoshi, what is this news all about? Because this news is definitely great for the Middle East region, isn't it?
All right, George. Infinios has officially teamed up with MasterCard for regulated stablecoin settlements. They're actually the very first issuer in Bahrain to offer this kind of service. It's also pretty cool, George, because they're considered one of the pioneering fintechs in the entire Middle East. They're aiming to use stablecoins to make payment settlements much faster and more efficient. George, ultimately, the goal is to improve speed and cut down on costs. This partnership, George, supports a secure and regulated digital payment infrastructure. And it truly connects the traditional world of finance with blockchain-based digital money. Infinios was careful to meet all of MasterCard's regulatory, technical, and operational requirements. Because of that, George, MasterCard chose them as an early launch partner in the region. The folks at Infinios see this as a major milestone for digital payments, George. Over time, their partnership will support 24/7 settlement capabilities. They're aiming to seriously reduce delays in cross-border payment settlements. Good news for businesses, then, because institutional payments are expected to become faster and more efficient, too. Of course, George, the service will remain fully compliant with all financial regulations. MasterCard is expanding its entire blockchain and digital asset strategy across the region, George. This launch strengthens Bahrain's position as a leading regional fintech hub. Banks, fintechs, and businesses can all access MasterCard's global payment network. Finally, George, the platform combines MasterCard's network with the speed and programmability of blockchain-based money.
Now look, Satoshi, I'm a bit confused. Should we be celebrating this news? Because look, at a business level and macro level, this news definitely sounds great, but if you go back to why Bitcoin was created precisely for this reason, isn't it? So that massive institutional giants, they do not become a centralized entity between peer-to-peer transaction, and Bitcoin by definition is peer-to-peer electronic cash system, isn't it? So am I right in saying news such as this does go against the very ethos of why Bitcoin was created?
That's a perspective many share, George. That tension between broader adoption and staying true to the original decentralized vision is a core part of the cryptocurrency conversation. While institutional participation can bring resources and stability, it does shift the landscape away from purely peer-to-peer, trustless interactions. It's valid to question whether that's a positive evolution or a departure from the core principle. That's why many people weigh news like this so closely.
Now why don't you tell our listeners, Satoshi, rather than using stable coins, what are the ways MasterCard or any other payment service providers could actually go ahead and use Lightning Network, and by doing that, they're still sticking to the ethos of Bitcoin and open blockchain, isn't it?
That's a great point, George. Integrating the Lightning Network would definitely allow payment providers to process Bitcoin transactions instantly and with minimal fees, all while keeping the actual Bitcoin on top of an open blockchain. Unlike stablecoins, which use separate fiat-pegged tokens, this would leverage actual Bitcoin, staying true to its decentralized nature. It presents another powerful option for modernizing global payments without relying on different tokens.
Well, thank you so much for your valuable insight, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys. According to me, Lightning Network, not blockchain technology, should be the right narrative. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and discuss the second news for today. And this is all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Do you want to tell our listeners what this news is all about, Satoshi?
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and do this for you. Saudi AI startup Mazen has secured a strategic investment from Humane. The companies are teaming up to create sovereign AI solutions together. This represents Humane's very first venture funding in a Saudi company, and it's also among the first investments globally for Humane Ventures. This partnership is focused on bringing AI to financial institutions and government organizations. Mazen has plans to push its AI platform into international markets, and currently, Mazen already provides for over 150 enterprise clients. A primary focus area will be solutions to prevent financial crime. They will also be advancing AI for knowledge intelligence purposes. Risk management, compliance, and governance are another key priority. Humane is bringing advanced technology and the necessary AI infrastructure. Mazen contributes its specialized enterprise AI products and deep expertise. Their engineering teams will work directly with clients to get these solutions running. The ultimate objective is delivering robust, secure, and production-ready enterprise AI. You'll see their joint AI applications arrive on the Humane One AI agent marketplace. The very first customer implementations will be revealed during the LEAP conference in Riyadh. They plan for broader commercial access starting in the second half of 2026. Overall, the goal is to speed up the rollout of trustworthy AI around the globe.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. But here's the thing, Satoshi. We are in the world of blockchain technology, isn't it? Do you want to tell our listeners what role blockchain technology could potentially play in this? And I want you to stick to only open blockchain, because look, with news such as this, it is often permission blockchain technology that works well, isn't it? But let's ignore permission blockchain for now. Talk about open blockchain. How do you think open blockchain could actually assist in this news?
Well, George, even though privacy and control often steer projects like this with permissioned models, open blockchains could play a really interesting role. Imagine Mazen using public chains to store cryptographic hashes, basically proof their financial crime prevention logic or compliance reports. This creates an unbreakable, transparent record without revealing sensitive data. Or maybe those production-ready enterprise AI systems could use decentralized identifiers on an open chain to manage user access and device security. There are some clever ways to blend the two worlds.
Well, definitely, Satoshi, but look, right now there's blockchain trilemma problem as well as an aid. So do you think blockchain trilemma problem will actually be a hindrance in such cases?
The blockchain trilemma of balancing decentralization, security, and scalability can definitely lead to trade-offs for a project like that, especially when aiming for a high volume of enterprise transactions with public-level transparency. Navigating that decision space is a key difficulty.
How do you think they could actually navigate against blockchain trilemma problem, Satoshi, unless it is done on permission blockchain?
They could potentially navigate it by leveraging Layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network for fast transactions, using sharding techniques on platforms that support it to scale, or perhaps deploying specific sidechains linked to open chains for the heavy lifting while preserving security at the base layer. George, these are common architectural strategies.
Definitely interesting suggestions, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. So these were some macro level newscasts on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. So let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to questions listeners have in store for us.
Hey everyone, it's Josh on the Blockchain DXB podcast, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And we have an interesting question from Randy who asks, could growing currency uncertainty push investors towards Bitcoin as a global alternative asset? Now look, Randy, the question is such an important question, and if you go by the books, the answer to that is yes. Bitcoin essentially should be an alternative asset, and right now, Bitcoin is often considered as digital gold, isn't it? But here's the thing, Randy, the facts are completely different. Whenever there's currency uncertainty, or even uncertainty at a geopolitical level, unfortunately during that time, the prices of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies tend to fall down. Now look, if you actually go by the books, Bitcoin in situations such as this should actually be pumping up, isn't it? But according to me, we are definitely not there yet. Maybe in 5 years, maybe in a decade's time, where people truly understand what Bitcoin is, we might be in a situation where during times of chaos, be it let's say geopolitical news or even during currency fluctuation, Bitcoin may eventually turn out to be a safe haven. But right now, Satoshi, I hate saying this, stable coins are turning out to be a safe haven, isn't it? What is your answer to Randy's question? I think it is definitely an interesting one, because look, if you actually go by the books are saying completely different, but the facts are completely different, isn't it?
You bring up a great point, George. Theoretically, Bitcoin should be attractive during that kind of chaos. But you're right. Immediate market panics often drive people back to the perceived safety of cash or stablecoins, because Bitcoin is still viewed as a risk asset by many in the short term. The long-term thesis remains strong, but the current reality shows that the perception of a safe haven is still evolving.
Now to expound on Randy's question, Satoshi, later on in this month there's going to be a Jackson Hole speech, isn't it? And do you think at the Jackson Hole speech, the new Federal Reserve Board chair, that is Kevin Walsh, will be looking at what is going on regarding the Japanese yen and how the United States of America is getting involved in that, and based on that, they may be making a decision regarding interest rates as well?
Well, George, Kevin Walsh would definitely be looking at global economic developments like what's happening with the Japanese yen and any U.S. involvement. Those kinds of international pressures do factor into broad monetary policy discussions at events like Jackson Hole, so it could certainly influence future interest rate decisions.
Now, another question that I have, and this is more of a me question, Satoshi, do you think what is going on regarding the Japanese yen, does it actually indirectly or directly impact inflation? Because look, higher inflation means the price of Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies fall down, and this goes back to the point that I mentioned earlier. If you actually go by the books, higher inflation should be the time where people are pivoting towards Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, and unfortunately, guys, that on theory definitely sounds great, but in reality is completely different, isn't it?
Well, George, the situation with the Japanese yen definitely has an impact on inflation.
When the currency weakens, it essentially makes everything imported into Japan more expensive, which drives up domestic price levels. Looking at how that interacts with the points you raised, the contrast between theory and reality is significant. While Bitcoin is often seen as a potential hedge against inflation, high inflation prints recently have tended to cause central banks to tighten monetary policy, leading investors away from risk assets, including cryptocurrencies, causing them to fall rather than rise.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, Satoshi. Really appreciate that. And Randy, your question definitely is great. Because look, at the outset, if you ask someone, they would definitely say yes, Bitcoin should be considered as a global alternative asset. But the facts are that we are definitely not there yet. Maybe we'll be there probably 5 to 10 years from now. Definitely an excellent question. And that's about all, guys. I'm the Ask Me Anything Series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about what is going on at the geopolitical level. Cause politics and politicians, they directly and indirectly impact the process, as well as the future and trajectory of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Then, guys, you look at 2 news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about regional partnerships. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic right now in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, Metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.